Hello and welcome everybody to another awesome show of Filmtopia Live. This is episode number 7. My name is Ricky and this is Filmtopia. And I just want to say Black Widow last night was so fun. No movie quote today. I just want to say Black Widow was so much fun. Being able to watch it with my friends, being able to watch it with you, being able to watch it with all of our Filmtopians was insane. And I can only say thank you. Um, Today we have a show that is we're literally a few hours away from when we finish watching Black Widow. But we're up and early just for you guys. So let's talk about today's movie news. And plus, if you guys are not aware, Filmtopia Live is the Filmtopia YouTube channel daily movie talk show where we talk about all things movies. And today we have a good one for you. We're going to talk about a few things, not just Black Widow. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I do see people in the chat. I see Hatim Ali Contractor says, hello, bro. Hello. Nice to see you. Thank you. Monish is up. Let's go. And Billy248 has not watched Black Widow yet. So with that said, I do want to just say, be aware that throughout this episode, there will be spoilers. And what I'll do is I'll try to contain it to like a certain part of the video. And I'll give you guys like here, watch. You see what on screen? Whenever we're talking about Black Widow, that will be on screen. So do not worry. You can watch this safely until I will visually tell you, like you see on screen. I will verbally tell you, and you can still enjoy today's Filmtopia Live. So do not worry about that. Loki Monish says 210 subs left to 1K. Honestly, I haven't even done the math, but that's insane. Billy says, wow, I was gone for 1 day and you guys have 810 subs. I don't know what happened. All I know is the vibes were there. The vibes continue. Wow. Seriously. Wow. Shiva says, hi. Hello, Shiva. Shivam. Nice to see you. Michael Sarah, I was a little disappointed by the ending. So yes, one thing, like I said, as far as spoiler warnings in the chat, like just letting you guys know, I can't control that. So for example, Billy248, I know you haven't watched it yet. So just be careful with the chat. Like I said, in the description or in the title of this video, I do say that there are spoilers. So I can't fault the chat if they end up saying stuff in there. Oh, here you go. Lowe's says, watched Fear Street last night while you guys watched Black Widow. Last night was a great cinema night. Okay, so speaking of Fear Street, Lowe's, just want to let you know that's one of the topics today. While I haven't seen part 1 or part 2 yet, because I know part 2 just came out last night, I do want to say that we're going to talk a little bit about the concept in which Netflix is executing right now. I really want to talk about that because I think that's really important moving forward. I think they've done something very innovative, very new, and obviously, you know, they're losing to Disney Plus. Everybody's losing to Disney Plus. It's not just Netflix. It's HBO Max. It's Peacock. It's Hulu's its own brother. But I do want to say that Disney Plus has all the hype type of shows, all the ones that you would do watch parties for, live stream reactions. So I just want to see if Netflix can somehow penetrate that model and infuse a new model. But with that said, I do want to Loki Monish says, Rick, in Asia, Black Widow didn't come out. I've heard. I keep hearing that it's pushed back a little or it doesn't come out until it's gonna come out a little later for you guys. I'm sorry to hear that. I really hope that it happens really fast. You guys can watch it because I really want to talk to you about it. But in the meantime, I am going to talk to a fellow Filmtopian, and this fellow Filmtopian is the co-host on this show. And without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on a Mr. Jonah. Jonah, what's up, buddy?
Hey, not much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh man, we just saw each other, man.
I know, right? Definitely
Uh,
didn't stay up until 5 a.m.
oh,
our time talking to Lizzie.
Oh no, that's not something you would do. No. And definitely not watch Bad Batch. Oh man, this is too funny,
I
man.
mean,
But I will
I don't
say
want to
this.
spoil anything, but last night's episode
So you got a
was a
double dose
doozy.
of goodness?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Let's see. Really quick, in the chat, Loki Monish, on what we were saying earlier, Loki says that it will come in on October 8th.
Yeah,
Black
they don't get
Widow.
premiere access in in Asia.
Wow, that's
Most of
crazy.
Asia doesn't get premiere access, though parts of Asia have reopened their movie theaters. Other parts haven't, to my knowledge. It's very all over the place.
Mm. Carlos Delfino says everybody is saying it looked more like a TV series production wise than it looked like a movie. And I actually, Carlos, we're gonna get into it right now, but I do want to also say, just on that point, I actually think the opposite. I think it actually felt like a movie, both pacing, both uh, visual, everything to me felt like a movie. When I was watching here on like my smaller screen, I was like, "Oh, this is what a movie feels like." I had forgotten what like a movie had felt like, and I thought that production wise, it was on par with like something like Winter Soldier, something again gritty. It felt like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the show, but on steroids. Um, while I'm not diminishing or minimizing the other ones, I do want to say that uh, it does feel like a movie to me. But on that note, because we are going to start talking about Black Widow, us two, Jonah, are not the only ones that are going to talk about it. And that is because we have our main man, Reddick, is in the house.
Hey guys, what's up?
What's up,
Not
man?
much.
How
How you
are
doing,
you?
Reddick?
Oh, I'm doing amazing. Like the morning was not that good because it wasn't releasing in India, but yeah, I figured out a way how to
I
watch it.
figured out a way. Reddick figured out
As
a
we
way.
always do.
Where there is a will, there is a way, and Manda would say that this is the way. I will say that Reddick, we missed you last night for sure. But I do want to just give you a little sneak peek as to what happened last night. I can't even really explain it, but
I mean, he was here
we
for part
had
of it.
we had a huge like just
Influx.
influx Black Widow spoiler reaction watch party. Like it was,
I
guys.
saw I saw the live stream after the film ended. Like I went like I need to see what these guys reacted
Yeah.
when the end credits happened. I had to watch it.
I will say this. While like I think at that point, dude, like all of us, we were like pretty tired. At least I can speak for myself. I was pretty tired,
Was
but
wide
like
awake.
but seeing what we saw in the very end, the post credits, it definitely woke me back up. I will say though, last night it was I mean, I'm very proud to say last night was our highest viewed anything on the channel. We got up to, and
8.5K.
again, really quick before I say what I'm going to say, I want to preface with saying it's not about the numbers for me. It's not about the numbers for us. It's just that's just to me a reflection on what's going on throughout this community, throughout Filmtopia, which is last night we got 13k eyeballs or Filmtopians or just individuals that decided they wanted to stop in and see what was going on. And so that is insane. The like count was really up there, and I'm hoping that it's because people like what's going on. And then obviously we started off the night, Reddick, at 616 subs. 616 subs. And we go ahead and we end it at, I believe it was like
800.
817, something around there.
Yeah, it was like 100
Yeah.
plus gain. Or 200 plus gain, sorry.
So
Also, Reddick, thank you for all your help in the chat
thank
during
you.
the movie. It did not go unnoticed. Yeah, that helped a lot.
Yeah. It definitely did. So thank you for that, Reddick. We appreciate you. And that's the beauty, man. That's why That's why you guys have the title of Stafftopians / castmates, castopians, whatever you want to call it, because you guys really, really go above and beyond. So we love it, man. We love it. Let's see. Lowe says it was the Winter Soldier light. Florence Pugh as. By the way, is it Pugh or is it Pugh?
I have
It's
no
Pew.
idea.
It's Pew.
Pugh. Okay, yeah. Florence Pugh
Yes.
as Yelena stole the show. Abso-fruitly.
I think that's the intention. I think that was the intention to, as I'm not gonna say anything, but as the movie went on, the intentions of her character became more and more clear, and especially with the future beyond Black Widow, the future of her character became very clear why she was so spotlighted throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. Well, with that said, right, I just want to let everybody out there know really quick, we are about to start talking about what you see on my shirt, which is Black Widow. And right now I'm giving you a verbal warning, and I will also give you a visual warning. Spoiler warning for Black Widow. So if you have not seen it, or if you do not want to know what happened, go ahead and come back to this later once you do. But with that said, I want to hear, especially from Reddick right now. Reddick, just give us the juice, man. What are you thinking? How are you feeling? Give us the lowdown.
Okay, I have three thoughts. Just three thoughts.
Three
One,
thoughts.
the film was good, but as a Marvel movie, it was a little underwhelming. I'll give
Okay.
it a 6.5. Probably on a rewatch, it will change. I hope so. Uh, uh, Yelena Belova's character was fantastic. I loved
Oh
it.
my God.
And I really got Where the Miller vibes from the film.
You got what?
Where the Millers. Um,
Okay.
because I mean the way they knit the whole character arc of the family, a pseudo
Mhm,
family, it was pretty heart touching. I really
mhm.
liked that.
Yeah.
And David Harbour was one heck of a surprise. I wasn't expecting a character like that
So good.
because I haven't seen Stranger Things. The only thing I saw him in is Extraction. So coming from Extraction, it's very very different from me. Like I loved the stupidity. I loved the comic timing. It was amazing.
Yeah. I was super glad you said all that, because you're definitely echoing what I've been wanting to say. There's a lot of good aspects to the film. So going back to, you just said it's a good movie, but as a Marvel movie, that's where I like pause and I don't necessarily know what to start saying, because as a Marvel movie, I feel like the timing was a little off in terms of when this was brought out, when this was put out. I think that it could have done better,
I
earlier on.
I remember you were saying in the live stream that it should have been at least 1.5 years before, and I totally
Yeah.
agree with it. There was nothing in the film that they should have kept hidden.
Mhm.
The post
Uh,
credit scene.
but probably I think it was a marketing move so that they can
Yeah.
hype up Hawkeye.
Yeah.
uh as a producer, it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
it absolutely makes sense. Why would they do that?
Yep.
But I think one part that they really nailed, and I think that was the most important part at this stage, was giving justice to Natasha, and I think they did that.
Okay. I'm glad you say that, because as far as Natasha getting her due, her justice, and Scarlett Johansson getting her solo film, and then you tag along Florence Pugh, you add the amazing character of David Harbour, and it was just really, really, what the way I want to explain, like, what David Harbour and Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson's like dynamic throughout the movie. To me, it felt very. I'm trying to find the right word, but essentially, it felt very like
Synergetic.
funny. Like it felt very. Felt very homey, if that makes sense. Like it felt relatable. It felt like something that I wanted to like be a part of and watch more of. Going back to what you were saying, Reddick, which was David Harbour was a fantastic surprise. I expected Florence Pugh to do what she did, but just seeing it cemented the fact that we need more of her. But David Harbour's character and I'll be honest, I have not seen Hellboy yet, but all the backlash that he received from Hellboy was one of those things where it's like, that could be career altering, right? Once you get a role like that and it plummets, studios may look at you a little different. And I'm glad that this was like, I don't want to call it a redemption, but it was at least a
Well, that's what
beacon of
Marvel does
light.
best.
A step
Right?
in the right direction.
A step in the right direction. And so I'm super glad to see that. And I just, like I said, as a movie right now, I'm actually really excited about it. Like, I want to watch it again. It felt, again, someone in the chat said that it felt like Winter Soldier light, and that's a great way of putting it, both visually, both thematically, in various ways. It felt very Winter Soldier like. And walking away with Florence Pugh as our torch bearer, like the one that the torch is now passed to. Wow, I was just like, yes. But to that point, Jonah, I know in the title of this video, right, of this Filmtopia Live, we have something that says "Ending Explained." So while we can talk about a lot of other things, I do want to get to that part because again, this whole movie, right, the whole 2 hours and let's say 10 minutes, it was self-contained. It was in one setting, like in one timeline.
It took about a week of time, I would say.
2 weeks. I remember the screen. It said 2 weeks.
It said 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later, and that's when we get Natasha with her Avengers Infinity War hair. And again, I appreciated the fact that we got to see like where she was between Civil War and Infinity War. And there's actually one thing I want to talk about. I just remembered. But then that happens, and then the movie kind of abruptly ends in the sense of like, okay, it didn't really push anything for us forward. Like, this was literally self-contained. We hope you enjoy this, even though you already know what happens. But then obviously, you start hearing footsteps and you see a post-credit in great Marvel fashion. And from this point on, Jonah, go ahead and like maybe break down what was going down at that very end.
So when the post-credit scene starts, we see Yelena get out of her truck with her dog, and she's at a semi-graveyard of sorts. And we see her visit Natasha's grave that we're able to have on Earth, because she didn't die on Earth, so her body's not buried there, but that is where her funeral was held. To assume that's where her funeral was held, and that is where Yelena now is. And this also clears up the fact that, yes, she did have a funeral. It was not like as grandioso as Tony's, because she's not Tony.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need to see a funeral for her in Endgame. This was our funeral for her. This was our love letter to Natasha Romanoff. And so we see Yelena crouch over the tombstone and place her forehead against it and do the whistle call that her and Natasha do as sisters. And then once she stands up, you hear someone blowing their nose obnoxiously. And lo and behold, it's our new favorite gal that it should not be doing what she's doing, but it's Val. And Val and Yelena have a talk about previous missions and how they both need a raise. And it seems like they've known each other for quite some time at this point, and that they've been working together for a good amount of time. And Val tells Yelena, well, I have another mission for you. How would you like to get revenge for your sister and hunt down the person that killed her? To which we see a picture of Hawkeye. And Val says, well, isn't he a cutie? or something along the
She
lines of that.
does say
And Yelena kind of judgingly looks at the picture, but I feel like she accepts the deal and is going to now be hunting down Hawkeye in Hawkeye, the TV series. She's been confirmed for all 8 episodes of the Hawkeye series on IMDb. I believe John Walker has been confirmed for at least 2 episodes. I'll have to double check that, but I think he's been confirmed for 2 episodes, which means
I'll check that. I'll check that.
Which means if that is true, then we're going to be getting our foundations of the Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts starting real soon, especially with Abomination too. Last night I said that we had a few of our positions already filled out in our heads, knowing going into the future of the MCU. I think that Val is trying to build a team similar to what the original 6 Avengers were. She has her Black Widow. She has her Captain America. She has her Hulk. She's going to recruit Zemo as her Iron Man. The Hawkeye figure, it will either be Hawkeye / Ronan himself, or it'll be, what is Taskmaster? It'll be Taskmaster or Hawkeye. And then our final member is going to, I have no idea who is going to take that Thor position. Like, it all depends on who they introduce in the next few years. Like, they could introduce like Hercules, and then Hercules would take that position, or they could reintroduce Loki to the timeline, and Loki could take that position. Like, there's so many characters that like can fit into that god position that I don't know who she's going to go after.
If you had to put your money on it, would you say it's going to be the Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers?
So it all depends. I need to see interactions with Thaddeus Ross first.
Gotcha.
Thaddeus Ross had a minimal role in this movie. It looks like Val is the one that's head pointing everything, or at least the recruiter of everything. I don't know her relationship with Ross. Once we get a little more development between Ross and Val, and what their relationship is, we will be able to see like what we're going to be calling this group.
Yeah.
Because if Ross is the one that's calling the ultimate shot, then it's going to be the Thunderbolts. If Val is the one that's calling the ultimate shot, it's probably going to be Dark Avengers.
I will say this, that Ross, a huge shout out to Thaddeus Ross. And I'm sorry, do you guys remember the actor's name?
William Hurt.
So a shout out to him, because he, I think, is our oldest MCU character, if I'm not, or I'm talking like in terms of how long he's been in the MCU, according to us. I think he's the longest tenured MCU character, which is crazy.
That has repetition, yes, because Abomination's also there, but Abomination's only shown up once.
So if you attach both repetition plus when they first debuted, to think back, like I was in 7th grade, maybe 6th grade when this all started, and to like be a full-grown adult now and still seeing him on screen, seeing him do what he does is crazy. I know people, I'm one thing I am hoping for Thaddeus Ross as a character is that we really get that payoff whenever they decide to like dispose of him or whatever the case is. I just really hope that he gets his justice, in the sense of give it to us, like give us what this has all been leading up towards. And I think that would be good. Let me check the chat really quick. Josh from NY is here. It says, oh, spoilers. Yep. Spoiler warning right here. And just another audio spoiler warning, just in case. Lowe says there was a slapstick camaraderie that was so nice. Yes, that's maybe the best way I could have put it earlier. So thank you for that, Lowe's. Lowe says, if I'm remembering correctly, earlier in the movie, didn't Dreykov say he buried Natasha's mom under a tree with pink blossoms with a headstone that says, unknown, Natasha had a very similar burial.
I thought
Yeah.
that was the grave that we were going to in the post-credit scene, and then it said daughter, sister, Avenger, and I was like, okay, then this is actually Black Widow. But I thought that was the grave we were going to in the beginning. Like when we got there, like I was like, oh, we're visiting Natasha's mom's grave, and then as we got closer, I was like, oh, this is our funeral.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting something like she was going to be beside the grave stating unknown. I mean, that would have been what I was expecting, but yeah, I got what I needed.
Yeah, no, one thing I did say like towards the end of last night's stream, and I'll say right now is that I in passing I forget that Romanoff is gone. Like this was her goodbye. Um and it's kind of it's tough, man, tough to swallow, because I don't know about you guys, but whenever there's a long staying character, whenever there's a character that means so much to whatever series property that you're dealing with, man, I know they're fictional characters, but to us, like, they mean something. And I think that's like the power of movies. That's why we love movies. That's why we get up early. That's why we sleep 3 hours and wake up to do this, is because like Keanu Reeves says, I love movies, man. I love watching movies and I love making movies.
As far as movies coming soon, I have to put this. I don't know if this was talked about in the stream or not, but the opening credits, the whole credit sequence, that reminded me so much of Call of Duty, and the music, it was Nirvana. I mean, after Batman, you're giving me this. Damn.
Dude, Nirvana, Lizzie, oh my gosh.
All of us
freaking out because that was crazy. Anthony was going bonkers. Like, we were just like, and oh my gosh, I got to hear that right now. Honestly, you guys might be talking, and I'm just gonna in the background gonna have my own little like low key.
Your own little concert.
I'm pulling it up.
And it was a cover. It wasn't even the original one.
Nope. And that was the beauty, is like it was like a one of a kind cover, something that like, oh my god, I need that soundtrack to drop ASAP. By the way, speaking of like around that time, I'm looking right now. The cold open, meaning, in case you don't know, the cold open is the how the movie opens without the intro or without the credits. It was right here. It's like around 15 minutes long. And while going back to someone's point in the chat about this not feeling like a movie, more like a TV, or it had a production of like a TV, that's where I beg to differ. That's where you see the big budget movie studio come into play, where they get to extend that cold open. Within that cold open, they get to explode things. They get to blow up things.
Literally.
Yeah. So there's just like really there's definitely still a difference between shows and movies, while that line is being blurred. Just how like cell phones and digital DSLR cameras are basically going to end up, becoming one. Same thing with the Disney Plus and the Marvel shows. Sorry guys, I lost my train of thought. It's early, but
I get the idea. Like, British television and British films are almost of the same production quality, and we are saying the same thing happened with Disney. So I mean, exactly. It's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Downton Abbey is a great example of that.
There's this one show I gotta mention. I mean, if you haven't watched it, you have to watch it. Tom Hiddleston is in the show. I think it's called The Night Manager. I don't know if anyone of you have watched
or new.
I think it's 2015, 2016. It's available on Prime Video. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Pretty cool stuff. I mean, it's pretty high production value.
Yeah, no, that line is being blurred as we speak.
So for you guys, where does Black Widow rank in the 24 cinematic movies that we have? I'm not including the TV shows, because for obvious reasons, one of them is not even complete right now. But so just of the 24 movies that we have in the MCU, Where does Black Widow rank for you guys?
Reddick, I'm gonna do the host thing and let you go first, so I can think of mine.
I'll okay. I'll not state a particular number, but I'm gonna say it's gonna be in the lower half, probably. Not because it's a bad film, but because it was badly timed and it wasn't that good in
What
terms of a Marvel.
What movies would you put it around?
Around
Because
Age of
you're
Ultron.
saying not a specific number. So what movie?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, like Thor: The Dark World, or probably Age of Ultron, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and like they were good films, but I didn't particularly like them. I mean,
Jonah.
after making shows like Avengers Endgame, you set a bar.
It's funny, dude. You know, it's funny. I can actually kind of attest to that from like a filmmaking perspective, which is you know what you'll always hear from young filmmakers or filmmakers that not even young in age, but as in starting. You'll hear them, and it comes from a place of you actually believe it. So it's not. I actually don't think it's an excuse, but it kind of turns into an excuse, which is, oh well, I'm not gonna write or make this movie yet because I don't want to waste the story. Um, and what I mean by that is going back to like Avengers Endgame when the filmmakers were making it. I know that they were sitting there saying like, "Oh my gosh, like this is so good. Like we're going into dangerous territory, which is it's going to be hard to top this." But obviously, you can always top something. It's just a matter of, really really giving it the time it needs and tender love and caring, TLC. But I will say that as a filmmaker, you sometimes make things. It's kind of like you can fall into this trap, right? And you may not make that one film as good as it should be because you're like saving something for part 2, for part 3, for whatever. But one thing I will recommend out there, and this is a slight tangent, which is give it your all while you can. Um, don't hold back, because what the thing you'll find out is when you hold back that idea and you say you're going to place it somewhere else, unless you have a tried true formula that you can execute it and you can hold it off, then I would again suggest to do it while you can, because there's no guarantee about a part 2. There's no guarantee part 1 will even be good or be received well. So I know that was a super slight variant timeline,
Hunger.
but I wanted to say that for any filmmakers out there, don't hold back what you might think is like gold, because at the end of the day, gold is going to be what you make it, and that can be anything.
And as far as part 1 and part 2 is concerned, I want to give a quick shout out to Hunger Games. No, sorry, not Hunger Games. They were similar. I mean, I don't even remember which one was it. It was Allegiant. Legion. Yeah.
Allegiant. Wait, which one's that one? Allegiant is
that's the finale of the Divergent
Yeah, the
series.
Divergent series.
Gotcha.
It never came out.
It never came out. Shout out.
Yeah.
That's funny. Jonah, to this question, or what were you gonna say?
I was going to answer the question.
Yeah.
I think you're pointing me towards that.
Yeah.
So for me, gosh, it's not as bad as Iron Man 3, Captain Marvel, Incredible Hulk.
I agree. I agree. It's not in that category for me.
It's not in that category, but also for me, Thor: The Dark World has moved up.
Because of Loki.
Because of Loki, yes. And just because I love Loki in general. I used to hate on that movie, but like I watched it like right before Loki started, and I was like, wow, there's actually a lot of good stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
That can still be explored in the future. Yes, it was corny. Yes, there was a lot of bad stuff in it, but there's some good stuff in Thor: The Dark World. As far as where it lands as like as a number, 19, 18, 20, that range, 18 to 20. It's definitely not the worst, but it's definitely on the lower half for me. Like it's in the bottom 6 for me, I would say.
You know, so where I rank, where I rank it, right now I pulled up like the movies just to get, make sure I'm not missing one. But where I rank this? I rank this as two things. One, as the little sister to Winter Soldier.
You mean Civil War?
Uh, no, I'm saying
Oh, okay.
I'm saying Winter Soldier in terms of like it feels like the little sister to Winter Soldier in terms of like what they were trying to achieve. I don't think it was trying to be Winter Soldier. I think that was the point. It wasn't trying to be, but it did heavily influence like Natasha, because Natasha is heavily influenced by Cap, because you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying, like by that team. So that's one thing. But secondly, the way like where I kind of rank it is where with every origination story we've seen. So I would put it there with like Captain America, the first Avenger. I would put it with Thor #1. I would put it with like Ant-Man. Like if you were shelving it, right? If there were shelves, like a bookshelf, I would grab the DVD or the Blu-ray. DVD, shout out to DVDs. I would grab that box and I would put it next to all the first entries into the saga.
Mm.
I don't necessarily right now know like the number, but I would say it's definitely, if there's 24 and 24 is like the worst rated, I would put it somewhere around 16 to 22. 16 to 16 to 21, actually. 16 to 21, around there. That's where I want to keep it. But again, I'm looking at it more as a shelf, and that shelf would be like, oh, here's Natasha's story. Let me pull it out. Here's Cap's, how everything started. So yeah, that's my take on that.
I'll
Yeah.
Let's
I'll also give it a number, perhaps I think 19 or 20 out
mhm.
of 24. Now that I've thought about it, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, seems fair.
yeah. And Jonah, just so I remember, you said what was your numbers? You put it at?
18 to 20 in that range.
Got you. Okay, so I know people are in the chat. Evander's in the chat. Shout out to you, Evander. Hello. Carlos Delfino's in the chat. Anthony Manzano's in the chat. Hello, hello. Common 663 Oxide says, I just saw the movie. Now I get why Valentino was the cameo in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And just so we're clear, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out after this, right? Like
Yes.
if everything was going right, let's
Yes.
just say, it was supposed to come out after.
Which there was a lot of stuff changed for that to happen.
On that point, really quick, this movie was in a way rewritten. It was rewritten or reshot or re-edited, but there were definitely
It was
parts of the movie.
re-edited, I would say. They definitely cut scenes with Ross and scenes with Val.
Mhm.
That would have given us more time with those characters to learn who they were, because we didn't get to know who Val was. We would not have known who Val was, and we would have just gotten this huge bombshell dropped on us at the end without knowing
Yeah.
who Val was.
Do you guys remember when and this is how I know this movie was cut up differently, or they had an original vision that they didn't fully execute, which was, do you guys remember when Yelena, uh when it was her, David Harbour, and Natasha, and they were about to board the plane, the one they used to go to.
Oh, to go to Cuba
Yeah. So
as kids?
remember? No. I'm talking about this is
When
when
they
they
were
break
about to go to Melina,
Yeah, when they were about to go
Yes,
to Melina, they just broke out David Harbour, Red Guardian.
on the helicopter. Yes.
But do you guys remember the part where it stood out to me, because I'm like, I wonder how this is going to pay off, or it seems like they cut it short. There's something missing here. Remember when Yelena went up to the glass of the plane and she like blew on it like with hot breath, like she was like, Remember? And then she like you could tell she was gonna like type something or write something into it.
Yeah.
That was my first like signal. And actually, now that I'm thinking about that, that might have been before they break out Red Guardian. But I just remember seeing that. I was like, oh, like there's something missing. Like they're definitely. I don't know if you want to
They
call it
cut
withholding,
something.
but they cut something. They cut something there. It was interesting to see from a big budget. It's supposed to be a movie theater movie that stood out to me. Let's see. I know Lowe's asked earlier, could Adam Warlock take on that God role?
I don't. So yes and no. Um, I think Adam Warlock is gonna stick to as Guardian of the Galaxy level stuff. And I say as Guardian of the Galaxy because we all know that Thor is going to be in charge by the time Guardians comes around again. Let's be honest.
We all know I'm in charge.
Let's be honest, though.
Of course,
Like he's going to be in shape. He's going to have Stormbreaker. Like he has a second hammer again as well. Like who's going to stop this man? Peter Quill and his one sandwich away from being fat.
All right, that's it. I'm getting a Bowflex. That's it. No, but dude, right now, really quick, an insight into the. I love that scene so much when we see like the first things of the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Stop touching him. Stop
Thor
touching his hand.
Thor was so funny, man. In Endgame, he was just.
Anthony, don't talk about Bad Batch spoilers, by the way.
Yeah. No Bad Batch spoilers right now, not yet. Let's see. I will say, but yeah, onto that point about Thor and being the leader of the Asgardians of the Galaxy. I cannot wait to see that. Taika Waititi, I think, is going to blow this one out of the park again.
Always.
It's crazy. It's crazy to like know. It's always crazy to see there's good filmmakers and there's maybe not so good filmmakers. And I just think it's like crazy that that's a thing. And I just want to say Taika Waititi is an amazing one. Let's see. Evander, though, feels like this was a rushed movie. I don't feel like it was
pacing.
Rushed.
Pacing was rushed.
the pacing was pretty weird.
Yeah, there was definitely jarring moments within the film where I was like, oh, it took me out of it, or oh, like something. So on that note, yes, but as far as a rushed movie, like production, like did they skim out on some VFX? In that way, I didn't feel it was rushed. I just felt that it was rushed. It was the pacing was off. There are certain elements within the film that made you feel that way.
I'll say that. See, the action pieces were fantastic. The dialogue writing was also pretty good. Probably we could have done something like DC is doing, like releasing a movie, then giving it 10-15 minutes or more footage. We just needed a couple of scenes, a couple of more payoffs, like you were talking about when she blows air on the helicopter. Probably scenes like that would have made more. I don't know how to put it, cohesiveness in the narrative. But yeah, I think overall it was a pretty good film.
Yeah, no, and again, I don't want anybody to misconstrue the fact that I think we think, this was it was a good movie. I liked it. I really liked it. If I were to make a tweet about it, I would say positive things about it. But just as a more deep cut fan, there's something within me right now that's trying to like piece stuff together or like trying to find out where this lies within the pantheon of MCU movies. Let's see. Carlos Delfino says, if there is a torch passing, of course she is going to be an Avenger. Anthony Manzano says, Rick, funny you should bring up Keanu Reeves. There's jokes going around in Hollywood that he's a vampire because when you look at pictures of him from when he was younger, he looks the same now. Guys, can I tell you guys something? And so I don't know if you guys know, but my most anticipated movie, and I'm actually putting it over Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm talking since the year began. My most anticipated movie. Wait, Reddick, I don't know if you're on mute, but I will say this.
I'm chanting. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay. Is The Matrix. The Matrix 4, that is like my, like, that's my most anticipated movie for the year. Keanu Reeves. I have no clue. Like I have absolutely no clue in what direction they're going, how they're playing this out. So that's like a huge thing for me. And I think the Wachowski sisters
Sisters.
are gonna do amazing. Like, well, here's the thing: it's not both of them. It is just one. I think it's just Lana. But I'm very excited to see what they come up with. I in my head, I think this is another trilogy. And I think with the advent of today's VFX, and shout out to Red. I just want to do a little quick shout out to Red. We love you, Red. If you're watching, Jared, what's up? But I will say they used the red Komodo on that movie, and so yeah. So I just want to say that. But to that point, Joan, I see you have something.
Yeah.
Okay, can I add it?
Yeah, go right ahead. So flame me all you want. This is my
Flame
tier
me.
list. Black Widow fits into that C tier.
C. Okay.
Yeah. Probably on the low end of C tier. But that's just where I have everything right now.
Yeah.
That's without
I like
putting
this.
much thought into it.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange definitely has an argument to move up to S, but I tried to keep S to 4 movies.
What's S?
If
Like, what? Just so I know, like
S is like top tier, like the best,
Superior.
best of the best, superior.
Okay.
Um,
Let me see if I want to see like where I stand on all this.
Okay, I gotta ask one question. What
Mhm.
is the hate with Iron Man 3, man? Like, I think that's the best Iron Man ever made.
I didn't like it.
Okay.
I just Iron
think
Man 1 is like amazing. Iron Man 2 is man, and Iron Man 3 was just it felt too much like a Christmas movie to me, and I
Do
didn't
you
like
feel
the
like
feeling of that.
it had to do with like the expectation, like kind of muddling? So, like for example, the expectations for Iron Man 3 were so high, and as you can see, the box office, right? It actually ended up being the highest grossing movie at that time ever for the
Yeah.
first 3 days. It was passed the torch by, I think, the Avengers, or
Yeah.
it was passed the torch, and then after that, it was Jurassic World. But do you guys think that it suffers from the fact that it was just we were expecting so much and we didn't get, I guess, as much?
Yeah. It felt too much like a Christmas, like,
Yeah.
oh, la di da, like, this happens. I'm going to blow up all my suits, and now there's fireworks just to prove I have a heart still. Yeah, that's how it felt to me.
I would love to hear Reddick's take though on Iron Man 3. Like how do you like it? How do you justify it? Like what's your
Okay,
reasoning?
so there are two reasons why I like the movie a lot. First of all, is I get to see why Tony Stark is a smart guy without the Iron Man suit.
Okay.
And that I think was very important because we have never seen him fight or analyze or problem solve without the Iron Man suit itself.
Mhm.
That's one reason. Second, I think the twist that they gave with the Mandarin made Aldrich Killian a very formidable villain in terms of how he dealt with stuff. It was pretty. How do I put it? It was pretty genuine. The motivations that the guy had,
Mhm.
it was quite justified. So I liked the villain, like below
Um
Zemo, but he was good.
can I ask you, as far as like uh for this is a question for both of you. If Iron Man 3 didn't exist, would the emotional weight of Avengers Endgame still be as strong?
Yes.
Reddick?
A little less.
That's a less. Because onto your point,
The
right? Like one of the things that Reddick does bring up is that like it shows us the side to Tony, which is Tony, not Iron Man. Like it shows us uh, again with no suits. It shows us
well,
it
we
shows a
see
more
that.
grounded perspective of what we perceive as Iron Man, because we forget there's a man underneath that suit. There's a person underneath that suit. And so when you have all the gadgets, when you have all the budget in the world to do basically whatever it is you want, to then be brought down to, a level that is
Like
normal.
I'll be I'll be very honest. Just
Really
before
brings
I
out the
watched
superhero
Iron
in
Man
me.
3, just before I watched Iron Man 3, the previous movie that I had watched was also a Shane Black movie, which was Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So I think probably my expectations were on that level. Maybe that's why I loved it. But I mean, as a Shane Black movie, it was fantastic. I just loved the humor. I just loved the witty nature. And even Tony being an asshole was pretty fun in the film.
as Guardian Hole.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
We
Oh,
all get one.
To counter the point of it would be less, and we wouldn't see Iron Man being Tony Stark,
Mm.
we have Civil War. We have Age of Ultron. Those two movies alone showed Tony Stark's ability to be a person with morals and ideals that he wants to uphold.
Yeah.
And that brings us to Infinity War, where he and Spider-Man No Way Home, where he now has a kid that he feels like he's a father figure to. So there's definitely still so much that screams that he's a human underneath the armor, even if Iron Man 3 was cut from the MCU.
So really quick, I want to go back to this tier maker, and I just want to like give my take on it. So as far as what you see on screen, I love the S, the superior tier. The only one, okay, yeah, superior tier. I'm gonna go one by one. Superior tier seems fine how it is, and I'm not putting these in order for myself. So just what you see on that row is what should be on that row. A, we've got Ragnarok, we've got Doctor Strange, we've got Iron Man 1, we've got Avengers 1. Is that No Way Home or
That
Far From
is
Home?
that's
That's
Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming and Guardians of the Galaxy 1. It's funny. So for me, I'm maybe alone in this, but in the A, I'm putting Ant-Man 1
Oh,
into A.
it's the highest B for me.
Yeah.
It's just short of reaching A for me. That's why I tried to put it in order, but like when I got down to like C tier, I just stopped caring about the order.
So then perfect. So then B move up Ant-Man for me into A, and then B would actually take on Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I just personally really enjoy that one. And as well as Ant-Man and the Wasp. I just really, really, really enjoy those two. So for me, it would go into B. And then C would be Thor 1, Thor Dark World, Captain 1, and Iron Man 2. And then D, and then actually for me, Iron Man 3 is in C. And then D, yeah, the Hulk and Captain Marvel.
And where would Black Widow sit?
Oh, okay, so perfect. So in my opinion, it's at B. For me, Black Widow is at B. Wait.
okay. I'll also
So
do
you're
two
putting it on
B.
par with like Black
No.
Panther, Age of
C.
Ultron. Okay.
C. For me, it's going to be at C. It's going to live with Thor, Captain America 1, Iron Man 2, Thor the Dark World. It's there. But the difference, the only like thing about C is that I just feel like, wow, that movie has so much. There's a lot of like I said, going back to that production value thing, I feel like the production value was really, really nice on it. That's the one thing about C.
What about you,
go ahead,
Reddick?
Okay, I'll do I think two or maximum three changes. I'll take Endgame and put it in A, and Ragnarok in S. And one change I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take Iron Man 3 and I'm gonna put it in B. Yeah, and I'm gonna shift Captain America with Thor. I'm gonna switch them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's all.
I will say this: my eyebrows went all the way up until my hairline when I heard you say Endgame into A. But I know your stance on like Civil War and Zemo being probably maybe the best MCU villain that there's been, or adversary. So I do understand where you're coming from in that sense. But let's look at the chat really quick. I do see. Let's see. Los says also with Loki going on, our heads are in a much more like grand place with the MCU. Black Widow is almost too grounded. So yeah, the timing may hurt. So check this out. One thing about that is I know coming off of WandaVision, I was excited to get back to being grounded because WandaVision's magic and WandaVision you can fly, all these things, right? So it feels grand. But when we got to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it felt way more grounded. But that one's still like it didn't feel too grounded, like what you're saying. It felt like there's a mystic presence among it, right? Even though I don't think we saw anything. But
Well, we got the
even like
Wakandans, so that's always the mystic presence.
exactly. So things like that it was brought in. And then also we got the reference early on in episode 1 about the wizards. What do they say?
The big three.
The big three.
The big three.
Androids, aliens, and wizards, all 3 of which were in the TVA.
Exactly. Let's see.
Falcon runs the TVA, confirmed? No.
Coffee Talking Tech is in here. Morning, guys. Vibes. Happy Friday. I just want to do a quick shout out to Coffee Talking Tech and his community. I'm not sure if he found a name for his community yet, but I know just to give you a quick rundown, Coffee Talking Tech helps YouTubers and streamers. Essentially, he is a gear expert, and he also likes coffee, so hence his name. But also, just a quick shout out to his community. We had a few Filmtopians come over last night for the stream or sub to the channel, and so we're grateful for that. And then really quick, just I want to show you guys his channel. Where did I put it? Oh, it's right here. Okay, really quick. Oops. Wait, how did I stop sharing that? Okay, here we go. Sorry.
Buttons.
Yeah, but Coffee Talking Tech. The description is wanting to have a YouTube channel. I do love tech products like PC hardware, camera equipment, tech reviews, and tech fixes. And yeah, it's just a good old time. He is a great live streamer as well. That's fun to be in his live streams. And yeah, and if you guys have any names for his community, you know how we're the Filmtopians of Filmtopia. One thing I suggested yesterday was the Java Bytes. So Bytes as in BYTES, Java as in coffee. But let us know in the comments if you think of any names for his community. We would love.
Not Java as the program
language,
but it's both.
Both. Yeah, exactly.
Play, right? It's the play.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Let's see. Josh from NY earlier said something about like he doesn't think it's a. I think he's trying to rank where the movies was. Has to be at least better than Iron Man or Thor.
Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World, I think is what he's referring to.
Crash says, watching Black Widow for the second time right now. The individual acting performances are amazing, but Jonah, you were right about the pacing. It's a little back and forth. Yeah, it's like jarring. Like it takes you in, it takes you out. It takes you in, it takes you out.
You hit the gas, you hit the brakes, and it's very. You're with the family, you're with action. You're with the family, you're with action. You're with the family, you're with action. It's not.
That's exactly how it is.
Yeah, it's not. You're with the family. The action ramps up, and then you see the family fighting.
I think
you see the family.
Being the family. One way the film could have been faster is you could have brought Dom Toretto. You can do anything. You got family, man.
Family. Oh man, the memes are way too crazy.
Fast 9.
Common 663 Oxide says this is not it, man. Nat deserved a way better movie. So here's one thing, Common. I want you to just like maybe check out and then come back and let me know if you end up still thinking the same. Which is, pretend this movie comes out June.
It comes out in between Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah. Or
at the same time as Captain Marvel, right before Captain Marvel.
So either in that time slot or even before Infinity War, and it's literally the movie that's right after Civil War. So for me, that's where I could place it. I could place it in either of those two. I think, Jonah, to your point though, now that you're bringing that up, bro, just the emotional weight.
It would have been better
watching that in between Infinity War and Endgame.
Without the post-credit scene, by the way. Without the post-credit scene.
without the post-credit scene. And I think the post-credit scene could have come, let's say, on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It could have been placed somewhere else because it would have made sense. We would have known who Yelena was. If anything, it would have been the inverse. It would have been Yelena
I just want to
was
know
the cameo.
original. I just want to know the original, like timeline that we were gonna get. Like,
I know.
if nothing, if COVID never happened, my goodness, Falcon and Winter Soldier would have been so much more like intense. They had to cut a whole plot because of COVID and their plot being too close to it. And like, imagine if like that never happened, like how much more we would have gotten, like from everything. So it's always going to be a. Can we get the COVID cut of that?
The COVID cut. Roosevelt Cavasso says Black Widow was a good movie, and like I said, I totally agree with that. Love that. Crash says way better than Captain Marvel. Parentheses, what is it? We're right there with Dark World.
That's
and my honest opinion.
That's a hot take to some of our fellow Stafftopians, but you know,
I will say this.
Not here right now.
Shots, bomb. I will say though that a Dark World, to Jonah's point earlier, it is climbing in my ranks, man. Like it is. That's the power of character. That's the power of character development and really extending that arc. Loki is just becoming so much like it makes even Thor,
the Dark World.
Well, so Thor: The Dark World, but also the third one, Ragnarok. Even though that one's like an amazing movie, like it's one of my favorites, but it's even making that one better now that I watch it. Like watching Loki, how scared he was of Hulk, watching Loki, how he never seems to fail at being mischievous. Like it's just awesome, man. Jesse asked, and I think let's see if we can answer this, but it says, what is the difference between the Dark Avengers and Thunderbolts? Jonah, you want to take this? Or if not,
I can. It's really who is running them. The Thunderbolts are a group of supervillains turned superheroes. In the comics, they do it to infiltrate the Avengers and to try and destroy them from the inside. Mm-hmm. But they learn that they love being superheroes and betray Zemo, who is the leader of the Thunderbolts, who is posing as Citizen V. The Dark Avengers are a team that was built by the U.S. government to create a team that is willing to do what the Avengers weren't willing to do. Mm-hmm. To take that extra step where they don't want to kill people, right? They won't kill people unless they have to. But the Dark Avengers don't care. They'll just kill.
Is there a comparison like in the DC for like this dynamic?
Suicide Squad would be the easiest to compare both to. But this would be Suicide Squad from the comics, not from the movie. Because that is two very different things. Thank you, DC.
I will say thank you, by the way, Anthony. I know I just saw the word Bad Batch and I skipped it, but no worries on that. You didn't know. I should, like I said, I should be caught up, but I'm not.
He will be. Give him a week.
I will be. Lowe says I really wanted more of the Red Guardian and versus Taskmaster. So really quick, I want to talk about that. I thought Taskmaster was insanely like cool. While I think it was cut short, while I think it was Taskmaster was used as more of a plot device, as we said last night. I do just really like the concept. I love the real world interpretation. I love how it manifested physically. But yeah, totally agree with you. Red Guardian versus Taskmaster would have been so cool. And Taskmaster versus anybody. Like just give us more and do it in more of a way than just,
One
Let's see how
fight,
strong he can really, or she can really.
one fight that I really would have loved to see was Steve Rogers versus Taskmaster. Like in conceptuality, because
Yeah,
I mean they both are great fighters, and
yeah.
if someone can mimic Captain, that's going to be awesome. But as far as Taskmaster is concerned in this film, I felt that towards the end it was pretty underutilized.
Hmm.
Mm.
Like I didn't feel that fear that eventually, like the first car crash that happened, I
Yeah.
was really terrified of Taskmaster. But from then on, I wasn't that terrified of Taskmaster, which I think I should have been.
Oh, you know what, dude? That is such a great point. I
Yeah,
lost my fear. Oh my gosh, that is such an awesome
it's a
point.
great way to put it. Too.
I totally lost my fear of Taskmaster at some point in the movie. And that's when that's why I'm telling you, there's certain things like that that I don't realize yet because it's not fully processed. But now that you're mentioning that, that's what's happening throughout the movie for me. Like things they're waning off. They're not as powerful as they were when they were introduced in the movie. And that's the sad part of the movie for me, which is it could have really
Like
really
it reminds me, like, if I think Jonah can probably understand this much better, that Taskmaster is somewhat like Killmonger and Joker in some way combined.
oh, I like
That
that.
the guy is terrifying and he can copy your moves, and he's a
Mhm.
fantastic fighter.
Yeah.
Like I get the point that they took
He
her
trained
daughter,
U.S.
and
agent in the
yeah,
comics.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
he
he
knows what
runs
he's doing.
he runs a whole team.
Yeah,
I mean, that
Taskmaster is
speaks a lot.
Taskmaster runs the Dark Avengers for a good amount of time, as well.
So, Anthony Manzano asks, do we expect Yelena to be Natasha's replacement in the actual Avengers, or do you think she's going to be a part of the Dark Avengers slash or the Thunderbolts?
Yes, I mean her involvement with Val.
That's it
There's
right there.
she's not going to be an Avenger, like an official Avenger. We don't even know what the state of the team is looking like post Endgame. We know who we have, but we're not getting an Avengers movie for this whole phase. Like I,
Which is crazy.
it's just
And
crazy to think about.
and there's one more weird thing, that before this phase ends, we're getting a Fantastic Four movie. So
Yep, that's the final movie.
the situation is gonna be even more mumbo jumbo, I guess.
It's insane, man. The Avengers is like, it's gonna be left to like you're only allowed in the Avengers if you if you wield magic or if you're as strong as Thor, and
I
unless
don't
you
think
got
it's gonna
those
be that.
credentials.
Like I feel like, well, it also depends. Who do you guys think is going to be the leader of this new team?
That
I
is
personally think,
exactly what I was gonna ask Jonah.
well, I guess really quick to answer that question, I personally think it is going to be Doctor Strange, but at the same time, just looking at it big picture, um, I just see them continuing Captain America and like really, really building up Sam Wilson's Captain America as the leader. But and then so two Cap's Tony or Cap's Iron Man in the Infinity Saga. I think they're gonna possibly replicate that with Sam's Cap to Doctor Strange's like overarching like overlordship, if that makes sense. Brains of the organization type of thing.
Got it.
Do you guys have any
I
prediction?
think I think like this is purely hypothetical. I know this isn't going to be true, but I really want Hawkeye to be the leader, because in
Hawkeye.
terms of the experience he's gone through
Yeah.
after Endgame, I think he's really matured as a person. So even if a mentor, I'll be fine with it. But he definitely has the capability to lead the Avengers now.
I think that Hawkeye the series is Jeremy Renner's last MCU project.
It feels like it.
Yeah,
think
makes
it-
sense.
I think that's what he said. Not 100% confirming, but I would personally like to see Professor Hulk as the leader. That I just feel like it'd be such a cool dynamic to, because Professor Hulk has been so underplayed.
Mhm.
Like he felt so weak. Like yes, he did the snap, but yeah, he didn't really do anything else.
Yeah,
That's
I
how it
mean,
felt.
as far as I have read the comics, like a very selected few, but yeah, he did not feel that mature and very sensible guy that he feels from the comics, and probably that's why I didn't say Professor Hulk. But
Yeah.
yeah, if it's not Hawkeye, then I'll rather take Doctor Strange any day.
Mhm.
I don't think it's gonna be the new. I don't think it's gonna be Sam Wilson. I feel like while yes, they can take it that way, I don't think that they will.
Because I mean, taking Lightning McQueen to do something big when you have Doc Hudson doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not saying that he isn't capable, but he
Owen
needs more time.
Wilson.
Wow.
I mean,
But
he does need a lot of experience at the moment.
Mhm.
he doesn't have the whole. He also does. He's not a super soldier. That's the other thing. So for him to keep up on the same level as what a leader would be of the Avengers, like yes, he has the leader personality, and yes, he has the ability to, but he's just a regular person. Like that's my one concern is that he's gonna get thrashed.
Yeah.
Like you don't want your
See,
leader being thrashed.
see, at the end of the day, we need to understand that the Avengers are not a group of superheroes; they're a group of heroes. The
Mm-hmm.
people have named them as superheroes,
Yeah.
and if I think if he can handle super soldiers with serums without super soldiers, I think he can definitely take a beating.
One of the
The
things
guy's got
again,
guts.
like last night watching the Black Widow movie, it was such a nice, refreshing reminder that you don't need serum to be a superhero. Um, and Natasha and Yelena like definitely like just again proved again that you are what your will and what your like what's on the inside. That's what makes you a hero. And loved it, loved it, loved it. Really quick, gonna go back to the chat. Yeah, Josh from NY. The reason, one of the things in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier that was supposed to happen had stuff to do with like a
Man-made
man-made
virus.
virus, and so they obviously for being respectful, they took that out, switched it up. But we did see like a little bit of it. J.A. Smith, J.A. Smith is here. He was actually co-hosting yesterday with John from Coffee Talk and Tech, like I was talking earlier. Says, I don't want to interrupt, just saying that I am so happy to find this channel. Thank you for dropping in on John and I last night, but I am so excited to join this Marvel family. Well, welcome, J.A. Smith. I just want to say, you're going to get a proper welcome right now, and that is J.A. Smith. Welcome to Filmtopia.
Vibes.
There we go. Vibes all the way. You already know. Appreciate you stopping by. Definitely everybody go check out his channel and go check out John's, aka Coffee Talking Tech. Comment 663 Oxide says exactly, WandaVision and Loki made the hopes go up in the sky. Absolutely. But it's funny, it's on purpose. Like it's a show that wants that feels like it's grand, like it feels like it has all this space like ahead of it. And the other ones are supposed to feel grounded because they're all serving a purpose. So for whatever happens in Avengers 5 or Avengers 6, there will be a
It's that
lot
much
more.
more.
Yeah, like it
Uh,
will just make things a lot more emotionally like satisfying, gratifying, or heavy.
uh, just one side note. I don't know if anyone mentioned it, but WandaVision reminds me that the story was even written by Jack Schaefer, who was the director of
Mm-hmm.
WandaVision, and I
WandaVision.
think
Yep.
that's pretty cool if you think about it.
Dude, not only is it cool, but it's crazy to see that range, right? So obviously, I keep
Yeah,
referring to WandaVision as magical and as grand, even though it was in one town. But like you know that she can fly. You know that
I
she
mean
can.
the range from doing a film like Doctor Strange to doing something like The Winter Soldier, that's
Mhm.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
also, like, I feel like Marvel is going to do this whole thing for Phase 4 of we're going to get this grand movie and then we're going to get this grounded movie. Grand, grounded, ground. Like, it's going to be that. over and over again. And I think it's so that we can not only get these huge moments that we've all been wanting, but we can also get these shows and these movies that are more geared towards informing us and giving us more background of everything and making it seem more not like making us be able to relate to these people a little easier with these heroes that are not necessarily always doing with magic or doing with these external powers that
To
we
keep us
can't.
balanced.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, so the balance, that's Thanos' line.
perfectly
Wait, I'm gonna-
balanced as
I'm
all
gonna use
things
my
should be.
chapstick. I'm gonna use my chapstick as perfectly balanced as all things should be. No, and again, obviously, one day. Here's the thing, right? Is one of the things about the direction and where everything is going is that inevitably it's going to get to the point where how do you top, the thing you previously did, and obviously that you would think that's going bigger and bigger and bigger via like using more space, like as in the galaxy, using more sorcerers, showing people with abilities that are unnatural. But I think what they're proving to us is that that's not necessarily all they have to do. And until we get to that point where they're going to have to merge Star Wars and Marvel in order to make huge bucks.
I don't think that
That
Hey,
that wouldn't be cool.
according to Patton Oswalt, is it Patton Oswalt? Go listen to his diatribe for like 30 minutes. It's so funny on how the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars will merge. Really quick though, I
I
see in
need to point out this pretty good comment by Loss.
Mhm.
And in the gist, he's simply saying that at the end of the phase, we're getting Reed Richards. So maybe Reed Richards will lead the Avengers.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually one name I I spaced on, man. That is a great point. Wow. Yes. I totally I can agree with that. But let's see. So they're not coming out with an Avengers movie until phase 6,
And there's
right?
one more character I want to
Or
drop
5.
in,
Which one?
Captain Marvel.
There you go. That's another one. Wow. We totally skipped on some people. I'm sticking with my Sam Wilson theory. Captain Falcon America. But we will see. I wouldn't be surprised if it is Captain Marvel, if it is Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four, if it is Doctor Strange. But I do think there is going to be a dynamic, right? Just how there was in phase 1 through 3 during the Infinity Saga, which was Captain America as like the executor, like person that would execute the plan, and then Tony Stark as the person with the plan. I do think that's going to reemerge in the coming phases. And let's go ahead and bring back.
I think that if Sam Wilson does become a part of the Avengers, which he will, I mean, I'm just giving a very hypothetical scenario, he'll probably be the tactician of the team, and by that he'll gain experience, and then then definitely I can see him leading the Avengers.
Really quick. So the chat says, J.A. Smith asks, do you think this new phase of MCU will resonate as deep as it did with the older MCU generation? Or do you think this is going to be more absorbed by the newer generation of MCU fans? So I love this question. And the reason
That's a
why
great question. Yeah.
is because I've asked myself this to myself. And when I walked out of Endgame, this is funny, man. I walked out of Endgame and I said, I might not watch another Marvel thing because this is how I want it to end. Like this, if you go past this, you're only gonna do yourself like you can't top this. Again, this is me emotionally speaking when I'm walking out with all teary eyed and stuff. So I walked out and I'm just like, dude, I don't want to see this burn to the ground. Like I don't want to see Marvel run into something where what's that saying I always say, which is I like to leave the party before it's over. Like I like to leave at the right time. What's that saying? Do you guys know it? Like
Leave the party at the high point.
Yeah, like basically that. Leave the party at the high point. Don't overstay your welcome. There we go.
Yeah.
So in my head, walking out of Endgame, I'm just like, dude, you know what? MCU, I know, you guys are amazing, but I have a feeling like you guys might overdo it or whatever the case is. So I'm walking out and I'm just like, Avengers Endgame for me is my that's my magnum opus. I'm leaving it there. And then obviously you get to thinking and you're like, oh my God, Avengers Endgame might not be the like it might drop out of the top 10 at some point. Literally, that is a huge, crazy thing to say for Avengers Endgame and Infinity War to drop out of the top 10 MCU projects on someone's list is going to be insane because you've got, oh my God, Avengers
I'm going to
8.
drop one big name because you said that.
Mhm.
Secret Wars.
That I mean, imagine, bro, just imagine, like,
But
There's
like
so
what
many
you
things.
said, I totally relate with this because the moment I walked out of Endgame, I was like, they killed most of the characters that I've grown up with, and
yeah,
now they're gonna technically start from near about a clean slate.
yeah,
And if you think about it, like I don't know if anyone of you have seen the Bond trilogy, but what they did after the third movie kind of made the franchise a little underwhelming. So I was also having these dicey thoughts that you
yeah.
put a good how do I put it, a ribbon or a knot on the series, and now what are you gonna do? And then I saw WandaVision, and well, I kind of flipped.
Yeah, no,
You and about the rest of the world.
the rest of the
No,
world, and
I
you know
mean
what's
it was a good series. On rewatching it, I realized it was a good series.
Oh
Probably
yes.
we did the over analysis, and
um
well,
no, go ahead. Sorry.
We're doing it again with Loki. Except
Yeah.
all
I mean,
signs point to one person. So please.
the
Please,
guy
please.
with the TV.
I will say this though, to answer Jay's question. So, will it resonate as deep as it did with the older MCU generation? And if you're talking older, like I would say we're in the older generation now. Like we grew up with phases 1 through 3, the Infinity Saga. That's what we can call it now. It's the Infinity Saga. To me, it's wrapped in a package, sealed. Nothing can harm it. It is what it is. And now we have to move on onto the next phases, onto the next, which I saw on Twitter today. It said the Infinity Saga, check. Underneath it, it said the Multiverse Saga, and it had like a little time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now on Filmtopia, we're gonna start referring to it as the Multiverse Saga.
There's
If
so
you
many
guys,
things that, like, I mean, now that Black Widow's out, the Infinity Saga is completely done.
yes.
In my opinion.
In the
So
chat, by the way, type in the Multiverse Saga. The Multiverse Saga.
Okay, I
this
have
is the
one
second
question
half. Not even. This is the
because
second quarter.
I'm gonna pop off very soon, right?
Uh-huh.
But I
We're all
really have
gonna.
to ask. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I have this question. Like
Mhm.
in the if you talk about Doctor Strange, we are having a different villain. If you're talking about Hawkeye or probably Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we're having a different villain. And we talk about Loki and I guess Ant-Man 3, we are having a different villain. So I mean, who is there going to be a single big baddie, or is it going to be like multiple fights ending up into one fight? I mean,
Mhm.
It'll be
what do
one
you
big
guys
bad.
think?
It'll be one big bad. Everything is pointing towards Kang being the big bad, and I know that some people are trashing on Kang. Like when I bring him up, he's my favorite villain for a reason. He literally can like mentally like destroy anything that any of the Avengers can do, like just by thinking it. That's how powerful he is.
Mhm.
People are saying he's boring, that he's bland. No, he's one of the most overpowered characters that
Read the comics,
Marvel
guys.
has like
Read the
produced.
comics.
I get that in some of the TV shows he is corny and is weak and not the best, but like for an example, go watch the end of Future Avengers season 1. See that Kang? That Kang at the end of that season, that's only a fraction of what we'll get from Majors playing this character.
Like the same thing happened with I don't know, the X-Men Apocalypse probably. The way they did Apocalypse, I mean, it was pretty weak. And if you think about it, Apocalypse is one heck of a villain. Like, he's pretty strong. So I get it where they're coming from. Like, most of the big baddies, apart from a few, have been corny. They haven't been realized to the full potential. So probably it's a fear of that they're playing. But I really do hope that if Kang is the big baddie, it's gonna be awesome.
Oh, I know it's going to be. I have so much
Uh,
faith right now in like Kang being like worse than Thanos for the Avengers.
I will say this because I don't think I still haven't answered the question, which is, do I think it will resonate as deep as it did with the older MCU generation? The answer is, I think it will resonate even more. Even more. I think it's gonna be that level of like attachment that us as the older generation is going to have to this new multiverse saga that we are deeming it. Shout out to Twitter for that one. And now for the newer generation, they're going to consume it the way we consumed the Infinity Saga, which is they're going to attach themselves really heavily to one of the characters. Probably right now a huge fan favorite for the younger generation is Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I mean, can you imagine in 10 years when Tom Holland decides this is no longer what he wants to do, and when they pass on the torch and he seemingly goes out of the MCU in whatever fashion, that will be their Tony Stark. Or
It's literally gonna be what we are doing. Like Tony Stark, like Cap is doing a movie, or
Yep.
Iron Man is doing a movie, and we're gonna watch it just because of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I really have to put this in. Like my sister, I think she hadn't seen a single Marvel movie, I think 3 months back.
Mm-hmm.
And today she literally walked in and she made me realize the fact that, hey, this was the last movie of Black Widow. I'm like, holy cow, you're right.
Exactly. That's exactly how it went for me, man.
And
It
I
was
was like, dude, you've just been watching it for 3 months. How can you be such a big geek? I waited 1 year to watch Endgame. So
Oh,
that gives me a question.
which
When
is
we're all older and we have kids and everything, right?
uh-huh.
Are you gonna force your kids to wait a year in between Infinity War and Endgame, or are you gonna let them watch it right afterwards?
I'm
My
a
pain is your
sadist.
pain.
I may be a sadist, but I'm not a psychopath. No. But yeah, I'm literally gonna come here. I want to show you something. What is it? 23 movies, kid. Start watching.
To answer Jonah's question, I am gonna that's a great. I'm gonna ponder that. As of right now, my young Filmtopian or Filmtopians will they'll get a good experience. You know what though? That's a great one though. Maybe they can watch all of this. They can watch in whatever order they want, but Endgame I will have in like a vault. And so like they have to like figure out they're gonna watch it, and then whenever maybe something big happens, I pull out Endgame, and there we go.
Or probably we can do something like Ready Player One, that they have to figure out a clue in order to open the vault.
Well, no, because Infinity War, when they watch that, they're gonna be like, "Wait, they die?
Heartbroken.
That's the end? That's the end? Like, what comes next?" And then you're gonna say, "No, wait a year," and then they're
Or-
gonna cry.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like either wait a year or you get a 4.0 or something like that, like something. And then when they get the 4.0 GPA, I'm gonna be like, all right, when you when you finish.
So they're still gonna wait a year, but you're gonna make them do some stuff to make them better people.
Okay. Apart from all
like
this,
that.
I have one self-existential crisis that I'm struggling from. I'm
Which
21.
is?
I'm 21,
Uh-huh.
and I'm part of the older generation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we are.
Oh my
Reddick.
god!
We are both 21, and we're part of the older generation
We
grew up
are-
on these movies.
I
grew up.
need to get grays on my hair now. Yeah, I gotta do that.
We're the
Ah!
we're literally like we're the original Avengers, and everything that's coming are going to be the new Avengers, the Dark Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four,
Inhumans down the
Inhumans.
road.
Dude, we have not mentioned the X-Men
Mutants.
once.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
yeah,
my
we'll get
god.
there. We'll get there.
Dude, if you guys want any if you guys want that answer as far as will the older generation absorb the new phases and stuff the way we did
Easily.
the previous one, I'm telling you right now, and it's basically I'm confirming this, we are going to be even more invested into
Two
whatever's
words.
coming over the next 10 years.
2 words. Fudge here.
Oh man.
In Feige, we trust.
In Feige,
Drop
we
it in the
trust.
chat.
Yes, drop it in the chat. You guys already know how we do. In Feige, we trust in the chat easily. Ulysses says Filmtopia, and I think he wants one of these. Oh my
Yes,
god.
he does. Yes, he does. We want that harp and the crickets and all the wrong buttons because you always forget to switch it before doing anything.
There we go. Filmtopia. Oh man, that is crazy. I still have not fixed that. No, Carlos Delfino, it was absolutely a joke. Do not merge Star Wars and Avengers. I'm the only possible scenario that I will ever see that happening is we live in a society. We live in a society where it's like 2060. Let's just say they've run out of ideas, run out of source material, whatever you want to call it, but it's like 40 years into the future. And at that point, it's obviously new fans will probably be, we won't have much of a voice at that point. And so the newer generations might understand a crossover or something like this. But again, it was a joke. Do not think it's going to happen. If it ever happened, it's just because it would be to make
Endgame.
It would.
Put
it would be
the Republic arriving instead of Captain Marvel. There.
I'll give a simple analogy on this.
There we go.
How does Jurassic Park and Fast and Furious sound? Yeah.
No.
That's your idea.
There you go. That's why, and that's why
that's where we're at right now. But
we're
down
not
the road,
advocating for the Star Wars Avengers.
Down the road, you never know. Some kids in 2060 will be like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea."
But I will say, go check out Patton Oswalt's YouTube. It's from Park and Rec. What's the Office show? No, Parks and Rec. Parks and Rec. Yeah, so Parks and Rec, Patton Oswalt has a scene where he's at the community legislator office courtroom and he's doing a filibuster, and in that filibuster he's explaining how a crossover between Marvel and Star Wars would work. It's freaking hilarious. Go check it out. But again, it's all jokes. I see Jimmy Lopez, one of our giveaway winners from the other night, is here. What is going on, my man? Thank you so much for being here.
I could not say this, but congrats, man, on winning the
Ulysses, I don't need a new chair right now, but thank you.
Oh man, that's too funny. Yeah, so Anthony says that the way Kevin Feige is going, he's setting up the MCU to be like multi it's a multiverse saga, right? But within it is the grounded MCU and the supernatural MCU.
Yes.
That's a good way of putting it. Yes. Coffee Talking Tech also says, "What are you doing here to Jason?" Hey man, we're vibing all the way. By the way, I don't know if we ever did this, but for Coffee Talking Tech, we never properly invited or welcomed him to Filmtopia, as well as AJ Smith. So with that said, Coffee Talking Tech, aka John and AJ Smith, welcome to Filmtopia.
Vibes.
There we go. Vibes all the way. Let's see. 2060 Coffee Talking Tech will be 90. Hey, I'll tell you this. 2060 though is I promise you one thing that I want to tell you is that Star Wars and Avengers will not be crossed over. Again, we're gonna make sure of that. Ulysses says every time Ricky messes up the soundboard, he has to donate money to Jonah's chair fund. Hey man, that's not a bad idea because then maybe I'll finally learn from my mistakes.
Go to buymeacoffee.com and do the needful.
Yeah, go to buymeacoffee.com/Filmtopia, and I'm telling that to myself because if I ever mess up again, that fund is going to Jonah's chair. Wow, yeah.
No, it's a new fund now. It's a gaming PC. It's a gaming desktop. That's the new fund.
Anthony's asking me to read the comment prior where it says something about Chadwick
Just a few
Boseman.
comments up. It's actually good. You should read it.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go. And you know
I
what?
missed
Okay,
it.
so honestly, Rick, Jonah, I think if he was still alive, I think they were building Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, to be the new leader of the Avengers down the road. I think not only is that speculation, but I think that was partly like confirmed. Like that was
Yeah, he was supposed to be.
that
Yeah.
was the how everything was building up towards. Like right now, I got chills thinking of that. Like that would have been amazing. Oh man, rest in heaven, Chadwick Boseman, the King, T'Challa,
And Star-Lord.
and Star-Lord now. Yes, the what if appear. Oh man, I can't wait to see how that plays out. But no, Chadwick Boseman was going to be an integral, huge part of the MCU moving forward. Unfortunately, with his untimely passing, that obviously moved everything around. At the end of the day, what's cool is I move forward in life knowing that Chadwick Boseman, aka T'Challa, aka the Black Panther, would have made an amazing leader of the Avengers. And I can say that confidently. I don't say that just to say. I don't say that, for whatever reason. That's how I feel. I feel that it would have been a perfect seamless transition, or at least, when they build him up,
I mean,
continue building him up. It would have been
think
awesome.
about it. The way he reacted in the Civil War climax, he was the only one who's making the right decision at the time.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty much evident that he was actually going to be the leader of the Avengers.
That's actually, that's a great point, Reddick. And considering Civil War is your favorite movie, right, of all time?
Yep.
So no, it's good to hear. It's good to hear that. So, yeah. So for sure. But really quick, guys. So obviously today we talked literally about all
Marvel.
things Marvel. We talked a lot about Black Widow, which was very fun. And again, I still have to process it. I still have to watch it another time. We are fresh.
I need to watch it from the theater. I need to I feel like I can't make my full judgment until I watch it in theaters, and I'm not trying to moderate and watch a movie at the same time.
Totally agree. While these watch parties are fun, I do again encourage people, if it is safe enough, if things are safe in your area, definitely if you have the chance, let us know how it was for your movie theater experience. This will be my first movie theater experience going to check this out. But again, we're taking all the proper precautions, being super safe about everything. And so I just, I advise and urge for you to do the same. And so
Also,
with that said,
just one last thing, that if you're from India, Malaysia, or probably any other country where Premier Access isn't available, you have to wait till October.
wow.
So yeah, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah. And so October is when it's supposed to be generally available to the public, right? Like even us in the
October
US
8th.
will get it generally. Okay. Got
Yes, it'll be available on Disney Plus on October 6th for everyone. Yeah.
So until then, I gotta use up my Premier
You gotta watch it
Access
30 times.
as much as I can. Yeah,
30 times, so then every time you viewed it was $1.
Exactly. Well, like I said, with that said, thank you so much to everybody that showed up today, to everybody that was listening, and to everybody that was commenting. It means a lot. It helps the show, it helps the show so much, and it just allows us to feel like your energy. It allows us to give you great vibes. And like I said, at the end of the day, you're all a part of this show. You're all a part of this show, and Filmtopia Live is here hopefully for the long run. And so far, a quick congratulations, by the way. Hopefully I'm going to get this right, which is this air horn is because today we did a full week of Filmtopia Live from Monday through Friday, no misses. While Wednesday we did it at a later time, we did not miss it. We made sure to get these to you. And at the end of the day, that's the beauty of it. This is just so fun. Like, we get to talk about movies. We get to talk about Marvel. Like, what? It blows my mind. Will continue to blow my mind. But it's
internationally talk about Marvel.
Internationally, my man. So Reddick, you are international right now. Adrian is international right now, according to us, because we're here. I'm saying, and for you, we're international to you. But we're international all together in this. I've seen in the comments people from all parts of the world. So it is just humbling. It is encouraging, and it is just vibes all the way. I can't wait till one day this manifests into some sort of physical, like, grouping. We will see that hopefully very soon. And with that said, Crash says it perfectly. Crash
How
says
soon?
vibes. I hope very soon. And Carlos says that was good. Thank you too, guys. Anthony says Rick is the king of vibes. You know what? Like I said, the vibes wouldn't be possible without all of you. So I
He's
turn
the
that right
ruler
back
of
to you.
Vibetopia.
Vibetopia. President Vibe. I will say this though. Again, super grateful for everybody. Coffee Talking Tech, Ulysses, Anthony, Los, Carlos, JA, Crash,
Ulysses.
Pyro, Ulysses, Common, Josh, Roosevelt, and right now I'm, like I said, just going through the comments. I know there's other people. Jesse Pinkman, Jesse Pink, that's so cool. Evander, Coy,
Josh from NY.
Loki, Monish, yeah, exactly.
Common Oxide.
Common Oxide, Shiva,
Vander.
and shout out to everybody that showed up last night. From Amanda B. Smith to Mark Smith. I got your messages, by the way, so thank you for that. I'm so grateful for everybody. Seeing you guys watch it on your big screen, on your projector, was mind-blowing to me. I'm going to actually reply to you right now that I finally am going to have some time. And to all the giveaway winners, I'm going to be in contact with you today about everything, so do not worry about that. And at the end of the day,
big
guys,
congratulations to all of the winners again.
Yeah, big congratulations. And at the end of the day, guys, as we move up in subscribers and as we move up in just whatever you want to call it, vibes across the internet, just know I will always remember everything that happened, right now, everything that's happening. I want you guys to still feel a part of this. I want you guys to still feel like this is home. I want you guys to still remember that Filmtopia is your place for all things movies. So with that said, I think that's a great way to end the show. Reddick, so good to have you this morning. Jonah, vibes, man, vibes. We will be back Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as you can see right here, catch Filmtopia live, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. It is our new daily movie talk show. And essentially,
is it
like
still
I said,
considered new?
And
maybe after, I will take that new part after today. But this is the last time we maybe say new. We are a work in progress, so I can't wait till you see the evolution of all this.
And if you miss us in the weekend, join the Discord.
There
Easy.
you go. Thank you. Radic and Jonah always coming in clutch. Everything is linked down below in the description box, whether that's the Instagram, the Twitter, and most importantly, the Discord. And we hit 100 Discord members last night, which is crazy, awesome.
117? 16?
Yeah, dude. I just checked and I was like, dude, it
117.
increased? How'd that happen? But yeah, man, this is awesome. Los does say we'll see you next week. See you all next week. Try not to break the sacred time this weekend. I'll try. There's no guarantees, but I'll try. And if
There's
anything,
never a guarantee.
And if I need a
paperweight
turn back time, if I need to turn back time, here we go. But hopefully I don't have to.
Oh no,
and
he stole my paperweight.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully I'm not in a TVA with this. If not, it's just a necklace. All right, everybody. Well, as you know, we make sure to comment down below how you want me to start next week's episode. It is, hi, my name is Ricky. This is Filmtopia. Blank blank. That blank blank is filled in by you. And a really quick example is like, hi, my name is Ricky. This is Filmtopia. And why?
My leg.
Yes. My leg. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, I will not drag this on anymore. Appreciate all of you, each and every one of you. And share Filmtopia with a friend. Join the vibes. But to my fellow castmates right here, put your hands up really quick. We are gonna fist pump right there. On three, 1, 2, 3. Vibes, baby, vibes. All right, everybody. We will catch you next time. I am ending the broadcast in 3.